Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, 1 or 2 still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Good evening everyone, and welcome to another night of live Penguin TV. I hope you're all ready and raring to go to watch the smallest species of penguin, the little penguin, to cross over our beaches here on Phillip Island in Victoria, Australia at the Penguin Parade. My name is Jordan and I'm going to be your host tonight, and this evening we are also joined by Ranger Tom. Tom, come on in, say hello and let us know what you're going to be doing tonight.
Hi everyone, welcome to all the newbies, welcome to all the regulars. 1,375 penguins last night.
1,375?
Which is pretty good.
Woohoo!
Whether we get more or less tonight, that's nature. I'll be keeping an eye on the questions on Facebook, so keep them interesting, and we won't get to everything, but we'll try and pass a few interesting ones through. Have a good night.
Great, thank you, Tom. So every single night here at the Penguin Parade, we are actually counting penguins for 50 minutes. 50 minutes. And the lucky number for last night, as Tom said, was 1,375 penguins. So for some of our regular bottle watchers or our regular viewers, you'll know that our rangers here at the Penguin Parade, we like to play Penguin Lotto, and the ranger who guesses the number of penguins closest to the number for the night gets a bar of chocolate. And I think, Tom, I saw it was a Mars bar tonight. Is that right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm very, very keen for that Mars bar tonight. Let us know in the comments how many penguins when this stream is going. Let us know how many penguins you think are going to be crossing the beach tonight. And this time tomorrow, Tom and I will be back and we will be able to let you know that magic number. So now it's a little bit cloudy at the moment, but we have a very, very low tide here at the Penguin Parade, and I don't believe we've had any penguins wash up just yet. We haven't heard anything from our penguin counter, Kerry, Tom? No, nothing yet. So these are the smallest of the 18 species of penguins in the world, everyone. They stand at about 33 centimeters or 1 foot tall, and they're the only penguins in the world that have beautiful blue feathers on their back. And that helps them camouflage against the ocean. So if there's any scary predatory birds flying around, they're invisible or they're camouflaged against the surface of the water so they can't be gobbled up for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So at the moment, these little penguins have been out all day, maybe for a few days or a few weeks, gobbling up things like pilchards, anchovies, salp, which is like a squishy, jellyfishy type thing, squid, anything about this big that can fit in their mouths. So when it starts to get a little bit darker, these clever penguins, they know that at about sunset every single night, those predatory birds that would love to snack on them have gone to bed. They've returned to roost, which means the penguins can then wash up on the edge of the water and start to make their dangerous dash over this beautiful big stretch of beach here. And because we have such a low tide, they're going to have a really long marathon, a really long stretch of beach to cross before they get to the safety of land and their burrows. So everyone, wish our penguins a lot of luck tonight. Tom will be able to can affirm this, but every single night here at the Penguin Parade, the beach looks completely different. And if you are regular water watchers, if you tune into live Penguin TV regularly, we've got a little bit of a wall of seaweed going on right now. So it's going to be a little bit of an obstacle for our penguins to cross over this tonight. In fact, Tom was just telling me before the stream started that they're probably going to back up against the wall and slowly start falling and trickling over. So that's going to be a bit of a fun thing tonight, but it's a little bit of an obstacle for these penguins. So because we've got a low tide, the moon is actually also quite full. So even though it's fairly cloudy, it's still a little bit light because of that full moon that's shining through the clouds. So now what I'm going to try and do is see if we can find any penguins out in the water, gathering together in a group called a raft. R-A-F-T, because they float on the surface of the water like a raft of penguins so that they can come in and there's safety in numbers. So what we're looking for is a kind of a bit of a shadow or a dark line in the water, and I think I might be able to see something. Let us know in the comments if you can see them, but around about this time of night, in fact 1 minute ago last night, that's when these penguins started crossing the beach. So they're a little bit late, although it's not late. The penguins will only cross the beach when they feel like it is safe to do so. Now, does that look like a raft, Tom? What do you think? Can we see them?
Yep, that's right in the middle there.
Right in the middle there. Excellent. So because we've got such a low tide, it is a little tricky, but very shortly you should be able to see their little heads bobbing around, slowly making their way into the shore, making a sound called a huck. And that's like a location call out that they talk to each other. They go huck, 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 huck. When they're out at sea. Is there anyone else out there? Can we cross the beach? Is it safe? What do we think? They're having all these kinds of conversations, and it looks like, I wonder, this might be the first group. So it's nice that we get to see them coming in. Sometimes it's a little bit too choppy to see them. Now, it looks like they're fairly close to the water's edge, but before we dive into too many more facts about penguins, I just wanted to stop and acknowledge the beautiful land that we are bringing the penguins to you from today. So we are, of course, here on Phillip Island in Victoria, Australia, but Phillip Island is also known by another name, and that is Malau. And Malau is the traditional name given by the Bunurong, who are the traditional custodians of the land here on Malau. So I would like to acknowledge them as the traditional custodians and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and any First Nations people who might be watching live Penguin TV with us here today. We are blessed here on Malau to have the largest colony of the little penguins in the world. There's about 32,000 of them that live in this colony. So they're doing really, really well, and a lot of their anthropogenic and threats have been minimized here on Malau by getting rid of foxes and restoring some of their habitat, which used to be, oh, there they are, which used to be an old housing estate up in the Summerland Peninsula. So these guys have a beautiful environment here on Malau to call their home and raise their chicks and live and breathe and have all the fun in the world here. So I wanted to acknowledge the amazing work that the Bunurong have done for managing Malau for over 10,000 years and to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land. Alrighty everyone, we have our first little group of penguins slowly making their way. They have crossed one hurdle tonight of that seaweed out there. My goodness, we have a lot, and they're getting slowly closer and closer. Now we are going to be starting our penguin count tonight when these penguins, when 5 or more penguins get to the halfway point on the beach. So that's usually the point of no return. If something scares them, they'll typically run straight up into the sand dunes, into the vegetation, rather than racing or waddling, should I say, all the way back to the water where they know they're invisible to any predators from above. But with this long tide tonight, I'm thinking they're going to be a little bit cagey. They're going to think, oh, there's a long stretch of beach. I'm not really good waddling on land. I might have to wait until I'm 100% sure that it's dark. And this is only a fairly small group of penguins, a small waddle. We sometimes like to call them a waddle of penguins when they're on land. It's only a fairly small one, maybe, what do you reckon, Tom? 12 or 15-ish?
What was that? Sorry. I was too busy watching the penguins on the water's edge.
Too busy watching the penguins on the water's edge. But because there's not heaps of them at the moment, they're probably going to be a little bit nervous. There's safety in numbers, so they'll might want to wait until there's a few more friends to come home and make that dangerous dash across the beach with them. Now, I mentioned about counting penguins tonight. Tom over here, who is looking through all your Facebook and YouTube comments tonight and finding some good ones. I've seen him writing down some questions, so I will throw to him in a moment for some questions. But Tom, I believe it was you who counted the penguins on our record-breaking night. Is that right?
Probably.
Tom,
one of them anyway.
One of them, beautiful. Well, Tom, you've been here for about 14 years, is that right? You've been counting. He's an expert penguin counter over here. I believe the biggest night was 4,398 or thereabouts.
4,500, yeah.
But just stacks and stacks of penguins. You probably didn't stop counting all night. My goodness, I've only counted penguins a few times crossing the beach. It's a bit of a scary job. You want to make sure you're not missing any penguins or over counting them. But we've got a veteran penguin counter just off to my right. Now, it looks like these little ones are slowly starting to make their way. They're kind of hitting the wall of seaweed, although if I zoom out a touch, actually, I found some more penguins that have just washed up at the water's edge. They look like maybe they've found the section of seaweed that's a little bit lower than the others. Alright, so I wonder if this group that's just washed up now, oh my gosh, they're really spread out along the beach. Guys, clump together, safety in numbers. You want to look like one really big animal rather than lots of tiny little ones. But this might give Kerry, our penguin counter tonight, a run for her money. That's quite a few penguins. Oh yeah, here they go. They're coming together. They know there's safety in numbers. Good work, penguins. They have definitely got it sorted out. But yeah, they are running a little bit behind because we haven't had a start yet, have we, Tom?
No, she hasn't.
Not yet. So the penguins haven't got to that halfway point, and I hope they're not going to disappear behind that wall of seaweed. Yep, they're kind of disappearing. All right, maybe then while they disappear and work out how to cross, look, I found some penguins off to the right. Let's have a look at you, and then we'll come back to our seaweed climbing penguins very, very shortly. Hello, little ones. Are you going to join that group there as well? What do we think? Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, there's actually a few penguins. I can see their little flashing bellies. They're kind of behind my head at the moment. I can see that section of the camera. Let's go. Oh, they're very brave penguins. That's only a very small group. Okay, let's zoom in on you guys. They are not waiting for any friends. They are super keen to get going, and you can see how tricky they are to spot when they're on this seaweed. They kind of camouflage and they blend in a little bit with the seaweed as well. So that's probably a good thing for the penguins, even though their poor little feet are getting trapped in amongst the seaweed and any rocks nearby. It helps them camouflage. So if there are any sea eagles, Pacific gulls, swamp harriers, whistling kites still flying around, they'll be able to kind of huddle down into the seaweed and blend in and camouflage really, really well. So good luck, little ones. You are very keen to get home. I also mentioned a little bit earlier that we've done a lot here to mitigate some of the human-induced or the anthropogenic impacts that humans have had on these penguins. And one of the ways, or the organisation that has been instrumental in doing that, is Phillip Island Nature Parks, and that's the organisation that currently manages the Penguin Parade, the Koala Conservation Reserve, Churchill Island Heritage Farm, and the Nobby's Antarctic Journey. And we are a self-funded non-for-profit conservation organisation, which is a fancy way of saying we get our money to do conservation education and research programs and projects through people coming to visit us through ecotourism. So thank you so much to all of you who have either been and visited us here at any, come on camera, visited us here at the Penguin Parade or any of those other sites in the past. The profits from your tours, tickets and souvenirs goes directly back into the conservation work that we do. So thank you for everyone who's been in the past or who has tickets to come and see us in the near future. We're really excited to have you now that we can have visitors back at our venues. But if you're interstate and if you're overseas and you would love to help with the work that we do protecting penguins and lots of other threatened flora and fauna, plants and animals, you can donate to the Penguin Foundation, and the link is in the description below. You can adopt a penguin, you can adopt an eastern bar bandicoot, a koala. There are lots of different options for you, and you can get a little plush toy, a little one of these, for your efforts as well. So thank you for everyone who has donated to the Penguin Foundation in the past. We do have a wildlife hospital here on site which looks after sick and injured native wildlife, including penguins. So the Penguin Foundation, or the donations from the Penguin Foundation, goes directly into funding that wildlife clinic. So some of you might have seen some little limping penguins, or might have even seen a penguin that came in a few weeks or probably even a few months ago, and it had an entanglement around its neck. If we have any sick or injured penguins, that will go directly to our hospital. So thank you so much again to everyone who has donated to the foundation. Alrighty, so these little dudes and dudettes have officially made their way onto land. Now, Kerry, our penguin counter, will be very, look at those little tail wags, would have been very, very busy counting tonight. But Tom, did we get a number of how many penguins crossed the beach in that group?
I think she said 47, but
47?
it's a bit hard to hear.
But yeah, we've got a little bit of a crackly reception in here, so it's a little bit tricky to see, or to hear, sorry. We can see perfectly. Look at these beautiful little ones, and as soon as they're on land, they are super happy, they are super chill, they've done their dangerous dash, the most dangerous and scary part of their day. Now they can relax, catch their breath, their poor hearts are probably going 100 miles an hour, and I reckon very shortly we might have some penguins crossing or coming onto our highway camera, highway number 1 as Heather likes to call it, just on top of me here. So I might, just before that's happening, let's maybe jump back to the beach and see if we can see any more wattles as they make their way home. Hello friends, there's a few more on the rocks. Now, everyone who has watched live Penguin TV before, you probably know that I can talk. I could probably run this live stream for 3 hours and not run out of things to say. But I might throw to Tom now for a question from the audience and see if there's any juicy questions that he's spotted so far. Anything good, Tom?
The first one's not a question as such, but this is from John Edmondson. Maybe you should offer penguin chocolate biscuits as the prize for the Rangers. So correct me if I'm wrong, but from my trips to UK, I'm pretty sure what England calls our Tim Tams, our iconic Tim Tams, is what England calls penguin biscuits. They're not exactly the same, but they're very, very similar.
Very similar. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I actually look at this one little penguin hanging out by himself. Have you had those penguin biscuits, Tom? They're really tasty. Probably not quite as good as Tim Tams, I would say. But I was lucky enough to spend a semester abroad in Leeds in the UK, back probably about 5 years ago now, to study for my undergraduate degree, and I ate my fill of those penguin chocolate biscuit bars. They were very, very good. And who was the name? Sorry, Tom?
John Edmondson.
John Edmondson. Hey, John. Thanks for your comment. I believe in our gift shop here at the Penguin Parade, we actually have chocolates that are penguin poo. So if you come and visit our venues, come and check out our retail stores and you can go home with some penguin poo chocolate. Doesn't that sound delicious? Oh, I've found some penguins at the water's edge just over here, or are they hanging out just behind that wall of seaweed? Yeah, there we are. Focus camera, please. I know it's a low tide and it's hard to focus now, but yep, there they are. Normally, I can't say normally because as soon as you say that, the penguins are going to do something completely different. But when we have a relatively flat beach, not all this big wall of seaweed, we'll get rafts or wattles of penguins coming in fairly regularly. But I think this big wall is it's going to be stopping or halting our penguins tonight. It now looks like we have some friends on the Penguin Highway. So here they come around the corner. So we can focus on these guys just now. You can see they're not in too much of a hurry. But they're probably a little bit nervous because there's not such a huge group. Oh my goodness, look at this little chunky certified chunker penguin right at the very back. You are so beautiful. Look, hang on, look how big you are. At the moment, we're seeing a lot of really chunky penguins coming in, and in the penguin world, the bigger you are, the more attractive you are, because it means you're really good at finding food. So you're going to make a good partner. But around about this time of year, late summer, early autumn, we get penguins almost doubling their weight, preparing for their annual molt. So every single year, penguins lose and replace all of their feathers. So a 1-year-old penguin and a 26-year-old penguin theoretically could look exactly the same. But because they lose and replace all their feathers, they never get a grey one. So yeah, they all look the same, but they have to spend 2.5 to 3 weeks on land. No food, no water, no swimming, no fun. So they have to double their body weight so that they can use their energy to sustain them for all that time. What's going on up there? Oh, you are so big and beautiful. And yeah, lose and replace all those feathers. So we'll probably see quite a few very chunky penguins making their way home tonight. And we might even be lucky enough to see some really scruffy penguins that are a bit kind of like halfway through their molt. All right, looks like I've got another little group starting to cross the beach over here, although I just wanted, there's something, ooh, there was something going on just over here. I'm not sure if it was a penguin dance, if there might be some chicks or it might be some courtship behavior. It's not really the right time of year, guys, but I just saw some chests out, flippers back, and they were kind of chasing each other. It was these two that are hanging around in the bushes, but it looks like the drama has finished for now. That's fine. As soon as I move away, they're probably, oh, there's Ranger Danny on the Penguins Plus stand, making sure everyone's obeying the rules and looking after the penguins. Just wanted to have a look at this penguin here. He or she looks a little bit potentially chicky to me. Oh, yes, you are. You are a little chickadee. So the way you can tell is that this penguin, I see how it looks a little bit fluffy at the chin and around the back of the neck. Looks like it's wearing a bit of a grey or brown scarf. This penguin over here, I'd say, what do you reckon, Tom? Maybe 7 weeks old? Maybe thereabouts, but it's got most nearly fell over just then. Oh, big stretch and a big dance. Look at him showing off learning how to be a penguin. Those are its baby, or its chick feathers, and it's slowly losing those and replacing them with the waterproof adult feathers, so they're all having a bit of a scratch behind the ear. It's got the blue feathers on the top that will help them camouflage from above, from any aerial predators. And that, woo, we're off. Beautiful white little belly. So that actually helps them camouflage on the surface of the water. Oh, okay. This here is a molting penguin, everyone. Look how scruffy this one is. And this penguin, I would say, has been on land for at least a week or so. Why do you have so much energy to do this? You are meant to be hating life at the moment. They're not eating all the time they're on land. These little birds are pescatarian, so they only eat seafood. So if they're stuck on land for 2.5 to 3 weeks, then they're not getting any food. That's why they have to double their body weight. And you can see those beautiful new feathers are kind of pushing through on its head, and you can see the scruffy ones kind of off to the side. Those are the old feathers that are getting pushed out by the new ones. So it's a very hot, very itchy, very irritable process, and you could see that penguin was not having a bar of that chick, who is probably waiting for mum and dad to come home with a big belly full of fish and go bleh right into the little chick's mouth. So I don't blame this penguin for being a little bit grumpy and not wanting to take on the responsibility of that chick. Oh, I'm glad we got to see a chick and a molting penguin. So how good is that, everyone? Let's jump back to the beach. We've got a few penguins. Oh, yep, there we go. There's more reaching the resting rocks over here. And I reckon we might have maybe another 1 or 2 questions tonight, Tom. So let us know if we... Oh, let's have a good question.
This is from Bronwyn Polkinghorn. Do the penguins come up on other parts of Phillip Island other than the colony and nature park areas?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. Thanks so much for that one. So here at the Penguin Parade, we are kind of near the edge, the eastern edge of the penguin colony here at the Summerland Peninsula. So for anyone who has been and visited us here at the Penguin Parade and gone up to the Nobbies, which is about 3 kilometres west, we have penguins coming up all the way along the south coast and on the north kind of point of the peninsula as well, just finding the quickest, shortest route to get back to their burrows, because just like humans, penguins have their own address. But yeah, we do have penguins kind of coming up all over Australia, but the question was here on Phillip Island, do we have any penguins? And unfortunately, the answer is no. So there used to be 10 different colonies here on Phillip Island, all kind of dotted around the south coast up from Ventnor, Cowes area. But unfortunately, the introduction of cats, dogs, foxes, and the destruction of their habitat, all 9 of the 10 colonies have actually become extinct. So this is now the only remaining colony that has persisted on Phillip Island, on Malau, which is a real shame because, of course, we don't want any colonies to go locally extinct. But yeah, that's why it's really important that we managed to get rid of foxes here on Phillip Island, because one fox could kill up to about 40 penguins in a single night. And in fact, this colony, looks like we've got some penguins up on the highway. Let's check out these guys. Yeah, because the other 9 colonies were disappearing. This one, even though it was the biggest one, it was following in the same trajectory. It was going down, and it was estimated to be completely gone. The penguins that we see here were going to be extinct if we didn't do anything by 1997. So by getting rid of foxes, by getting rid of the housing estate that was right in the heart of the penguin colony, amongst doing lots and lots of other things. Going too quickly for me. Here we are. Look at this pre-Malta. Look how big and beautiful you are. That's allowed us to bring them back from the brink of extinction. And as I said, they're 32,000 strong, these little penguins in this colony now. And they've been stable at this number since about 2013. So we do a penguin census every 2 to 3 years, and they've been around about that 32,000. So that's stable, that's sustainable for them, which is really, really good. So thank you for that question. But yeah, really important that even though those colonies have gone extinct, that we protect the areas that we do have our precious creatures in, even more so. Alright, it looks like we've got a few just hanging out on the Penguin Highway. If you were watching live Penguin TV kind of in November, December, you would remember that this Penguin Highway, being the highway, this is when the penguins were going at top speed as they were making their way home. They had eggs to sit on, they had chicks to feed, but now that we're heading towards the end of the breeding season, anecdotally, I would say at least, they don't seem to be kind of zooming off, and they're not in quite as much of a hurry. Imagine being double your body weight and having to try and get home as quickly as possible. That does not sound fun. Now let's jump back to our beach camera, and there's plenty of penguins resting, preening themselves, having a bit of a break here on the resting rocks. But I might jump back to the beach one more time before we kind of go a little bit closer towards the light. Now, Tom's just advised me that we've got roughly 5 or so minutes to go here on Live Penguin TV. Again, if you've watched me on Live Penguin TV before, you'll know that I am notorious for going overtime, but we've had to be very strict and have to stick to our times now. So we will be finishing in the next couple of minutes or so. But if we haven't answered your question tonight, remember to tune in night after night. We are running this live stream until about the middle of March. So keep tuning in, keep asking those questions. If you're desperate to have one of your questions answered, we'll do our very best to answer them live on the air. But we also do have a wonderful team of penguin rangers who are going through and moderating the Facebook comments and giving you answers as quickly as possible. So stand by for those as well. Look at these little ones as they start to rush all the way home. They're at the resting rocks. They know they can rest. They blend in well with the dark basaltic rocks. It's solidified lava from many millions of years ago. And they love hanging out, doing some penguin yoga as they hang out here. One thing I did want to say as well is that I actually watched Sky's live Penguin TV last night, and I saw that there was lots of poets in our viewer party. So I was very, very much enjoying how creative people were being with writing poems for penguins. That was absolutely wonderful. Tom, have we seen anyone making some poems? Nah. All right, well, you know what? Maybe we'll encourage people to have a bit of a think about some penguin poetry for tomorrow night, and we'll try and read some out aloud because, my goodness, that was hilarious. Alrighty. Looks like we've got another little group starting to cross. Excellent. Welcome home, everyone. Hopefully with that big kind of wall of seaweed, that's going to slow the penguins down and it'll make it a little bit easier for Kerry to count these penguins tonight. All right, Tom, let's have one more question before we sign off and follow some penguins just over here.
So this is from JD.
Oh, wallaby! Oh my gosh, wallaby and all the penguins. Do they care? Oh no, they're fine.
From JD, are your research burrows randomly spread through the colony?
Oh, the research burrows. Thanks, JD. I recognise that name, randomly spread through the colony. So we do have, selected study sites where our researchers will go out and monitor the penguins. Some of them are 3 times a week, and others are once every 2 weeks. So I believe I was talking to Andre Sharadia, our penguinologist here at the Penguin Parade. And last count, we have 9 different study sites, and there's a few around here at the Penguin Parade. I might just jump onto the highway so we can see these ones coming up close. There's some in the Summerland Peninsula on the south coast, and we also have one or two on the north coast of the Summerland Peninsula as well. So they would have been put out kind of randomly to start off with because I think there's a chick. Hang on, sorry JD, I just want to check out this little chickadee. Oh, look at you, you are so fluffy. Oh, you're only a little one, but you are nice and chunky, so what a good sign. Let's zoom in on you, although don't move. Ah, I said don't move. Gosh, these penguins never listen to you, do they? Come back. Where'd he go? Zoom out again. Where'd you go? Oh, more penguins. There it is. Are you my mum? Are you my dad? Will you feed me? I'm hungry, please. So yeah, we do, they are kind of randomly, that study sites themselves are randomly spaced throughout the colony. And some of our study sites have natural burrows and others have those artificial nest boxes, which I will show you, and we'll leave that chick. Let me point us down towards the highway. We've got 2 amigos coming on up. So some of our study sites have little artificial nest boxes that we like to call mortgage-free penguin homes, and they are just over here. I don't want to move the camera too much. Oh, these penguins are so chill. Look at them go. Where we just lift up in these, here we go, found them just over here. Oh, is that another chick? Oh, it is another chick. Hello. We just lift up the lid and we can kind of see who's home, and other burrows are natural burrows, so we have to have a lovely glove which gets covered in penguin poo whenever you're checking these study sites. Reach your hand in and see who's at home. But yeah, so the natural burrows are randomly spaced. It's just where the penguins have decided to dig those burrows. But when we've got the nest boxes, yeah, we put them in a certain space, and we don't want the entrances facing each other because the penguins don't like that, apparently. So we might finish up tonight with looking at this little chickie who probably has its burrow nearby, and you are very, very chunky, very well fed little one. As I said, waiting for mum and dad to come home with a big belly full of fish. Come on, camera, are you gonna... There we go. Oh, you are so fat. Okay. So yeah, we'll finish up here tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, we are running this live stream every single night up until the middle of March. So tune in tomorrow night and you'll see Tom and my face again. So I'll get Tom to come in so we can both say goodbye. And Tom, are you ready to do our signature huck off?
I don't do hucks.
You don't do hucks? Okay, well, you're going to have to bear with me as I do it. So just as a reminder, in the language of the penguin, when they say huck huck, that means that's when they talk to each other out in the ocean. They say, huck, 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 is it dark? Can we cross the beach yet? What do we think? So I'm going to say goodbye in penguin language, and Tom's probably going to be rolling his eyes. So sorry, Tom, and sorry for everyone who's watching. But thanks again. And remember, if you can't, we would love to see you here in the flesh at the Penguin Parade and any other nature park sites. But if you would like to help us protect our wonderful little penguins and native wildlife here on Malau, here on Phillip Island, remember you can donate to the Penguin Foundation and get a cute little plush toy if you adopt a penguin, and you know that you're doing your part to help protect these beautiful little creatures. So is there anything that I've missed, Tom?
Nope.
No, I've just been chatting all night. Sorry, everyone. You love it, I hope. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Take care and see you tomorrow.